Most people are trapped in the paradigm enunciated by René Descartes. That is, I think, therefore I am. They equate the thought with the reality. If we think we are sincere, then we are sincere. If we think we can swim, then we can swim. We see this frequently in religions where people believe they are following a particular religion because they regularly attend church or say prayers, even though their daily actions may in some way contradict the tenets of their own religion. This same limitation applies for some period of time to the spiritual seeker. When he holds the thought that he is devoted, when he has an emotional attachment to a particular God, teacher, or teaching, he believes he has accomplished a spiritual realization. There is, however, a vast difference between a mental or emotional adherence to a particular teaching or religion or idea and the actual life experience that embodies that teaching. Just as reading a book about swimming does not ensure that an individual will not sink and drown when thrown into the water, so also, with regard to spirituality, the essential thing is the living experience, not the thought of it. In his epic poem, Savitri, A Legend and a Symbol, Sri Aurobindo succinctly states, quote, God shall grow up while the wise men talk and sleep, end quote. One may think about, philosophize, develop fine emotions, and yet miss the actuality of the spiritual truth in life. This is not intended to demean the importance of the mind and emotions turning toward the divine. That is, for most people, an important step along the way, a turning point toward taking up the discipline that can bring about the complete spiritual transformation of the being. Sri Aurobindo describes several disciplines which can aid the seeker in effectuating this spiritual change in the being. The first is the concentration in the heart center. Sri Aurobindo observes, quote, You have asked, what is the discipline to be followed in order to convert the mental seeking into a living spiritual experience? The first necessity is the practice of concentration of your consciousness within yourself. The ordinary human mind has an activity on the surface which veils the real self, but there is another, a hidden consciousness within, behind the surface, one in which we can become aware of the real self and of a larger, deeper truth of nature, can realize the self and liberate and transform the nature. To quiet the surface mind and begin to live within is the object of this concentration. Of this true consciousness, other than the superficial, there are two main centers, one in the heart, not the physical heart, but the cardiac center in the middle of the chest, one in the head. The concentration in the heart opens within, and by following this inward opening and going deep, one becomes aware of the soul or psychic being, the divine element in the individual. This being unveiled begins to come forward, to govern the nature, to turn it and all its movements towards the truth, towards the divine, and to call down into it all that is above. It brings the consciousness of the presence, the dedication of the being to the highest, and invites the descent into our nature of a greater force and consciousness which is waiting above us. To concentrate in the heart center with the offering of oneself to the divine and the aspiration for this inward opening and for the presence in the heart is the first way, and, if it can be done, the natural beginning. For its result, once obtained, makes the spiritual path far more easy and safe than if one begins the other way. End quote. Reference, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, the Psychic Being, Soul, Its Nature, Mission, and Evolution, Section 4, The Psychic Being and Sadhana, pages 115 to 116.